FPUC Retro is back on, baby. There's a push for it in the fourth stimulus package, and we will see it next week, but trust me, there's going to be a lot of revisions of it till we get to the final finish line. What is FPUC Retro and what is UI and what's PUA? Enjoy this throwback video explaining unemployment and all the different vehicles of unemployment and how you can go retroactively when you're certifying for your benefits as well. Enjoy this overnight LA video explaining unemployment. Great news, we're all unemployed, but Nancy Pelosi has a pot bill for us. I just can't. What's with her? The question is, what would be Nancy Pelosi's pot name? If there was a line of pot named after your favorite congressional leaders, what would it be called? Temple Plume, Mitch Itch, Minution Chushin, and, Kudlow's Corner. The question is whether Nancy Pelosi will focus on pot next week and whether her caucus will be aligned with her blowing smoke of America's you-know-what as they come back into Congress. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I mean, Nancy Pelosi's doing a pot bill next week, and this is Afternoons LALATE, and oh, and she's also calling your $1,200 stimulus checks a rich date. Boy, every day at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, I'm surprised, as you are, with checks. Then we go to hazard pay, then FPUC, and then finally rent, part of our 3.5-hour programming block on every day on LALATE that we try to figure out what the hell's going on with her. But ironically, some viewers said, maybe it's good news she's doing a pot bill. She'll probably relax her damn ass off and finally give us some stimulus checks. But let me get to the incredible great news right now as we sit here today about PUA, LWA, UI, and all that wonderful stuff. I haven't done this video in a couple days, so I'm going to do it right now, and I'm going to get right to the details. If you need money and you think you qualify for UI or PUA, please go get it. Please go get it. Don't sit around for stimulus checks. Go get UI and PUA. You can get it if you worked at some time as an employee, or you work sometime as an independent contractor. Go get the money. And, I've had so many viewers come back into the mix in the last 24 hours, OGs of the channel, who got thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for unemployment benefits because of this channel back when the COVID first hit. And it really, it kept them going. So please go get it. And that's what I'm trying to do, is really help you understand what you qualify for, how you get it, and how you get money. I mean, that's what this channel came to fruition about. And that is what I'm getting back to basics with in this video. How do you get some unemployment benefits if you qualify? First, UI. UI benefits are yours if you worked as an employee before the pandemic. An employee would be someone that, for example, works at Macy's. It would be a W-2. And under UI, you would go to your state's unemployment website and apply for UI to get those benefits. You could apply still now, as we sit here for September, for something that happened months earlier. You just have to say that it happened months earlier. Second, if you were an independent contractor, if you declare taxes on some type of side business you do, whether you're Uber or Lyft or Postmates or, Grubhub Eats or Airbnb, that business has been impacted by COVID-19, then you can go get some PUA as well. Viewers are initially asked when this channel launched, what happens if I'm both PUA and UI? You ultimately have to make the decision what has been financially impacted the most. When you're doing PUA for purposes for unemployment benefits, you need to understand that PUA does not require you to be unemployed. I'll repeat that again. PUA does not require you to be unemployed because of the pandemic. You just have to have your number of hours reduced because of the pandemic. Now, you could also have something more simpler under PUA, which is you couldn't reach your place of employment because it was shut down. Examples like you are an independent contractor for refrigerators at a local group of schools, and the schools are shut down due to a lockdown. You couldn't work. That's an example to be qualified for PUA. PUA also has some qualifications for you as well if you contracted COVID-19 or someone in your household, so watch those as well. To qualify for PUA, you go to the state's unemployment website as well. All right, so we got them both lined up to apply, PUA and UI. You're both at the state's unemployment website. What do you need to know? All right, so let's slow it down. Let's get to the details. PUA is required to apply for UI first and get a denial before you apply for PUA. Why? Because that's the way the law is written. A PUA person must have been denied for UI to go get PUA. A UI person just applies for UI. Now, I've always gotten this question. I'm going to answer it again. Can a UI person who's approved for UI eventually jump to PUA? No. Can a person who's on PUA eventually jump to UI? No. You're on one, and that's it. All right, so you're in your state's website. You've gone in and you started the application process. The single most important thing you need to know when you're doing a UI or PUA application is the date of impact. This is the date at which everything triggers. Example for PUA is it'll ask you when was the date of impact. So it may have been when you were issued a lockdown order. If that was, let's say, March 20th, it's March 20th. Do not list the wrong date. It'll cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. The reason is why it's asking you when your eligibility started. So if it started in March, don't tell the computer August. If it started in March, don't tell the computer September. You will lose all those weeks of benefits. All right, so you go through it, you do the application, and then you're finally done. You've then, at that point, submitted the application. You're great. You're good to go. What next? Well, you just sort of wait around. It takes time for the application to get approved. This channel launched on April 25th, and boy, to imagine, it's been about almost now 4 months. We're almost at 250,000 subscribers. But on those very first days, I was doing PUA on the very first day. And I was doing it before PUA went live. I think PUA went live on April 28th. So I recorded my first video on April 25th, 3 days ahead of time, telling you how to do PUA applications. Shortly thereafter, it went live on 28th. And, I had 12 subscribers at those days, but I had subscribers in every different state generally, and I quickly found viewers telling me that they got applications approved, some of them literally on the 28th, some on the 29th, and then viewers who sort of found me by May 1st and then when applied on May 1st were backed up nearly just 2-3 weeks. There was a big rush when things went live, and then it got backed up. Those things happen to this day. So if you're one of those people that knows a friend and the friend is on UI or you're on PUA, it's like, oh wait, how come he got paid? I didn't get paid. Just calm it down. It just happens all the time. There's no reason why one person gets paid before another person. All right, so then you go through the application, you do the application, you're approved, then what? You're not done. At that point, you are basically at a period in which it says application pending, and eventually it'll say application approved, and they'll show a date range. It'll say something like March to March of next year, or March to December. That is your eligibility window. Let me explain that a little bit more now, because I don't always do this. When you see that, you need to know certain things. Well, let's say, for example, you're on PUA. It says December 30th. Well, count out how many weeks PUA is under the CARES Act. It's about 30-something weeks. But if you look at that time frame and it doesn't go out to the full 30 weeks, don't worry. That means you can still go past that eligibility window. Next, if you look at the UI period and it shows you, let's say, March to November, let's say, for example, don't worry. That doesn't mean you're going off of benefits in November, because there's 2 other extensions for UI possibly. There's first, FPUC, which extended you under the CARES Act additional weeks. And second, there's extended benefits under state law. A lot of states have extended UI benefits. It just doesn't say it there initially. All right. What it also doesn't say is it doesn't tell you what you're supposed to do next. That's why you watch me. All right. The next step is to go in and certify for benefits on a weekly basis. What does that mean? So if you're sitting here in September and your date of impact is back in March, what's going to happen is you're going to have to certify for all those weeks from March back to today's date. You're going back in time and you're coming forward. It's going to take a while as the bugs are really picking up. Thank God the fires have settled down, but now I got bugs going. What you have to do is you have to certify for every single week in the past, bring it up to the present. It's going to take you a while on the computer. You don't have to do it all in one fall swoop. But what I recommend you to do is remember how you're answering the questions to make it easier on yourself. So what happens is, for example, it'll ask you a series of questions every week, and you have to remember how you answer those questions. But if you remember sort of a routine way to approach it, it makes it easier on you. Let me give you a first example. It'll ask you each week if you want to take out for taxes. You can either take out for taxes or not take out for taxes. If you don't take out for taxes, you have to pay the taxes on the benefits next year when tax returns are due. Pretty easy. But if you do ask them to take out for taxes, then you don't have to pay for taxes on it next year. You've already paid the taxes now. What I always recommend viewers is don't switch back and forth. You won't keep track of which one you did. Was I on? Was I off? Was I on? Just choose one and stay with it. That's why you have to sort of save what you're doing for yourself. It makes it easier. The other thing you have to do is make sure you answer the questions correctly. So two of the questions are very confusing. One is, if you had been offered the ability to work, would you have worked? That's a question asking about mental state. So you have to answer, yes, I would have worked had you offered me a job. Next question is, would you have been physically able to work if you had been offered a job? This is, again, a question about your body. This is a different question. Would your body have been able to do work had you been offered a job? Answer is yes. If you answer no to either of those questions, you're not going to get benefits for that week. Next, if you worked a certain number of hours in that week as a part-time job, and it was just, that week or the week after, whatever, you got to tell them that. And that will reduce your benefits for that particular week, but that doesn't mean you go off the claim. It doesn't mean you're disqualified. It doesn't mean you're not going to get benefits in the future weeks. And I got to answer this question as well, because I'm getting this question a lot. If you were unemployed, let's say in March to August, but just got a job this week, can you get benefits from March to August? Absolutely you can. I think it's so obvious, but I guess it's not, because I'm getting that question maybe 10 times per day. Yes, when it's asking you to certify for benefits, the concept of certify for benefits is explaining what happens in every respective week, and it treats every week different than the other. That's why when we talk about economic data numbers, we're always talking about people who are newly on benefits. They don't have a problem if you were on benefits and you got a job and then you got fired again. The point is that you're in the computer system, and the point is that you're accurate with what happened. So, for example, let's say you were unemployed March and April, then got a job, then you can't claim benefits when you got a job going for those weeks going forward. And let's say you got fired again. Okay, sorry, it's just a tough year. Then you go back on unemployment benefits. That's how it works. Very, very straightforward and simple. All right, so as you certify for the benefits and you go through all the respective weeks and you're done, then next what's going to happen? Well, you go into your tab, and then one of the tabs says in the website, each respective week 1, week 2, it'll list the date of the week, and it'll show whether you've been paid or processing. If it shows processing, great. It means it's pending. That's good news. If it shows paid, then that means it means it's about to hit your account. If it shows declined, it means you did something wrong. If it says ineligible, it means you were declined. Verbs or adjectives that are other than processing or paid are ones that you should be worried about, because it means something went wrong. And if it did, you need to call your local state office about it. Next, the money. So how soon do you see the money? Well, the money would generally route to you within about a week to 2 weeks after it says paid in your portal. And the $600 from the federal government from the CARES Act from March all the way up to July would come either together or separately. It just depends on the state. But for purposes of LWA, the situation is a little bit more confusing. As we sit here today, FEMA now indicates that today is the last week for states to apply for additional $300 per week, and nearly every state, and plus Guam and Washington, D.C., have applied and been approved for the money. South Dakota is the only state that has declined to apply, while Nevada has applied and awaiting approval. Oh, okay, so this is a new twist. So 50-something, wow, nearly every state has applied for FPUC, for LWA benefits. But what we now know is that they're paying 6 weeks. So regardless of whether states or territories are in the process to receive or distribute the FEMA funding, FEMA will fund 6 weeks and $300 supplements, unemployment benefits to every state and territory it has applied for assistance by September 10th. Nebraska, for example, was approved September 9th and will start beginning to get the 6 payments of the extra $300. FEMA says that to date it has distributed $30 billion of the $44 billion available to 47 states, Guam, and Washington, D.C. So this is really great news. As you sit here today, what you have to understand with LWA is for that period from late July up to the present. Some viewers have asked me to remind you, and I got to do this as well, that you don't qualify for LWA if you didn't make that $100 threshold. It's a way that LWA is written on the executive order. I don't like it. It's out there, and that's the way it's written. So does that mean you're never going to get paid a supplement for those weeks going forward? Well, at the moment, our hope for enhanced unemployment benefits going forward or other enhanced unemployment benefits is by executive order. I've been detailing this channel exclusively for the last few days that there is that money out there. The president can do it. The question is when and how. I don't see FPUC 2.0 happening. It's in the HEROES Act. I don't see that happening anytime soon. It could change at any moment. But the situation as we sit here today is that if you're waiting for enhanced unemployment benefits past that 6 week of LWA, or for any week since you don't qualify above the $100 threshold, then you really have to hope and stay here with me here as we hope the president does it by executive order. He can, and he has the money. If there was a day to like and subscribe to this channel, it's today. Go to the front of this channel and hit the subscribe button. Also drop your comments below. I may answer them in tomorrow's recording. And then hit the like button so that this video appears higher in the rankings with other videos, compared to other videos that just tell you, Carmen Sandiego is looking for your FEMA money, and she can't find the 7th week. So it's with that. Always stay focused, always stay motivated, always stay positive. Coming up next is rent. Tune in for that because I have big, interesting details coming right up next. And have a great afternoon. As always, stay with LA for more.